Welcome to Seaway Whiskey Wire. Tonight on the bar, we've got the Cutty Sark Prohibition Overproof blended Scotch Whisky. Stay tuned. Well, hey guys, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler, and we got ourselves a blended Scotch Whisky on the bar tonight with the Cutty Sark Prohibition Overproof. But before we get into the overview and the specs in this particular bottle, just want to say thank you to my friends from Cutty Sark for sending this over the channel for review. And if you got yourself something from Cutty Sark, you got yourself a blended Scotch, a blended malt, even something that hits a little bit higher in the ABV category, and you want to pour yourself a dram and drink along with me, please do so. I encourage it. It makes life a heck of a lot better for you guys on the other end, and I enjoy you guys drinking along with me. So with that, guys, let's get into the overview of the Prohibition Overproof by Cutty Sark. So right on the label here on the bottle, guys, it proudly states that it's handcrafted from grain and malts that are matured in American oak. It's non-chill filtered, and it's bottled at 100 proof. So right off the get-go, guys, what do we know about this blended whiskey? We know that it's matured in American oak barrels. I've heard that they are American oak barrels that have been seasoned with sherry as well. So you're going to get a little bit of sherry influence in there. It is non-chill filtered, so nice plus side there. And it hits well above its weight class with 100 proof or 50% ABV. Very, very nice indeed. And as far as the grain and the malt's concerned, the malts that are included in this particular blend, very interesting to say the least. You've got the likes of Glenrothes, you've got Bunnahabhain, you've got Highland Park, and apparently some Macallan as well. So you've got a nice, cool blend of a whole bunch of different distilleries in the malt that represents the malt of this blended Scotch whiskey. So with that, guys, let's get into the presentation on the Prohibition Overproof by Cutty Sark and just take a look at this. So I love this bottle. It's a classic looking bottle, and you know, the label as well really plays to that whole, you know, smuggling aspect, prohibition aspect of bottles that were smuggled into the US during Prohibition or whatnot. You know, the labels are glued right on there. There isn't a whole lot of information on the labels, and that's kind of where I'm a little disappointed with this one here. Yes, it does state that it's non-chill filtered and the ABV and the maturation, but really they don't have anything about lore on here. They don't have any stories about the Cutty Sark or anything like that. So I think they kind of missed the mark on that. But that out of the way, you know what? I think they did a really nice job in the packaging. Really am a big fan of it, and I love the Cutty Sark ship prominently displayed on the front there. So with that, it doesn't mention anything about being natural color, but we'll get a nice little cork pop actually. We'll get into the color and get into the pour and take a look at the liquid in the Cutty Sark Prohibition Overproof blended Scotch whiskey. All right, we'll go in nice and close here and give you guys a look. So non-chill filtered, no mention of being natural colored, so I do assume there's a little bit of color added there. It comes in with like a kind of a light amber gold to it. I don't know if the camera picks it up or not, but you can definitely see some little bits of particle and whatnot floating around in there from the non-chill filtration, which I always think is pretty cool. Yeah, not a bad start to this blended Scotch whiskey. But you know what? The room's starting to fill up with some nice aromas. So let's get into the nose on the Cutty Sark Prohibition Overproof and see what we can get out of this. So let's dive into it. On the nose. Very, very fresh nose. Very lively. And you know, 50% ABV, guys. It's not alcoholic. There's no singeing of the nose hairs. Nothing off-putting. It's just a very bright and lively and fresh nose. Right off the get-go, on the very, very tip of it, I'm getting a ton of fresh lemons and limes. I'm getting some nice citrus on there. Then a little bit of raisin in there as well in the corners. Into some apples and some pears. Green apples and green pears, obviously. And then I get some vanilla and some toffee in there as well. Yeah. But a very, very lively, very, very bright nose. And again, nothing off-putting. Nice fresh lemon and limes for days. All right. Well, guys, very interesting to see what we can get on the palate. Very nice, lively nose. So let's get on to it. Let's get into the taste of the Cutty Sark Prohibition Overproof blended Scotch whiskey. So, Slanja, to your health. Let's get into it. First off, it's definitely more viscous than I could think of any other blend that I've had. A blended Scotch whiskey that has a viscosity like this. So it's a thicker liquid. It's mouth coating, gets the mouth watering, very inviting. Not very alcoholic. And I don't know how old the whiskeys are in here, but it's very smooth. It doesn't have really too many sharp edges or nothing like that. Very, very nice, approachable, and thick liquid. I'm gonna go in for one more sip early here, guys. Gotta say, wasn't expecting that overly. So, like the nose, first off, what am I getting? I'm getting a ton of fresh citrus, some lemons, some limes, maybe a little orange zest in there as well. And then it kind of goes right into this kind of a bit of sourness, no bitterness, but sourness, almost like a cough drop kind of sensation in there too. This kind of medicinal piece to it, but not bitter or anything like that, but right into that. So it plays again highly on those fresh citrus notes and kind of into that cough drop piece. And then I'm getting kind of your normal, what you would expect out of a classic kind of Scotch whiskey. I'm getting those honeys. I'm getting some vanilla on there too. And then the back end is a heavy dose of black and white pepper spice. And it's very, very nice. It's a very eased into a spice. It's not just like a bomb or a punch. It just kind of goes into it. And it's at the tail end, and it kind of gives it a little bit of length to its character here, which I'm really enjoying. Usually don't go in for a third sip yet, but I'm going to go in for one more. Yeah, fresh limes into that kind of sourness, cough droppy kind of thing. And then I'm getting some honey, some vanilla, and those nice black and white pepper notes at the end there. Very nice. Well, with that, guys, I'm going to go into my thoughts on the finish. I've already kind of had another sip here to kind of confirm what I know on this particular blended Scotch whiskey. But yeah, what can I say about the finish? So right off the get-go, I'll tell you guys, it's a fairly decent finish. Medium to long, kind of treads lightly on the long part, but definitely in the medium range there. It's so fresh, beautiful nose, beautiful palate. If you like fresh, delicate lemons and limes and very, those fresh aromas and flavors that go with that, I think you're gonna like this one. It's very, very big on those citrus notes. And great mouthfeel. That's something I had put down on my notes there too. I'm going for that other sip again. Well, I'm talking about the mouthfeel, because it has a very nice mouthfeel. Not syrupy or nothing like that, but it is definitely more viscous than the average blend. I can tell you that for sure. But yeah, very nice overall finish to it, and a little bit of complexity to it. Not overly complex, but enough going on. And you know what? At 50% ABV, hits above his weight class. Doesn't singe the nose hairs. Doesn't have anything abrasive. There's no alcoholic notes to it. It's just a really, really nice blended Scotch whiskey. And that being said, again, that it's a blended Scotch, we need to talk about value, because I think that's where this particular whiskey is going to make or break your choice to purchase it or not. And from a value standpoint, I can't get this in my area. Again, the folks at Cutty Sark were nice enough to send this over to the channel for review, so thank you guys again for doing that. And I have seen it available on some websites out west. And when you go out west, I see it from anywhere from $40 to $50. I'm sure it's discounted somewhere in there at some point, but 40 to 50 bucks. I think this is kind of exactly where this needs to be. Yeah, it's not the biggest blend, not from the biggest company, but you know what? I think it definitely catches your eye, being that it's 50% ABV, being that it is non-chill filtered, being that it's kind of sort of trying to become this integrity product, which I really think it kind of stands out and lasts there. This is, this is not their entry level by any means, but still, even at that higher point, it's very, very affordable and very approachable. Doesn't have a whole lot of complexity, doesn't have any peat, doesn't have any smoke, doesn't have anything crazy like that going on for it, but it's just a really good, stronger blended Scotch whiskey. And I hate to say the word smooth, but it's really, really is. It's a really nice, smooth 50% whiskey. And you know what? I bet you'd make a hell of a cocktail, and I've yet to try it. But you know what? I think I definitely might in the very, very near future. So yeah, if you can go and find this in your area, I'm saying for that $40, $50 price point, pick it up, add it to your repertoire. You'll be glad you did. And that, guys, wraps up my review of the Cutty Sark Prohibition Overproof blended Scotch whiskey. And I am definitely not going to get tired of having to say that a bunch of times during my videos. And with that, guys, if you like what we're doing here at Seawaywhiskywire, you guys know that drill. Like and subscribe down below. And hey, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Seawaywhiskywire for more content. And as always, you know, if you guys are still hanging around this long in the video with me down here in the basement, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. What is your go-to blended whiskey? What is your go-to for cocktails, sip neat? Is there something that I need to be adding here? I want to do a series on blended Scotch whiskeys. And you know what, this was one that I was gonna do, but you know what, I liked it so much I thought I would share it with you guys ahead of schedule. So we'll definitely not be including this one in the blended Scotch whiskey series, but I think you need to pay attention to it nonetheless. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave you with that. Thanks so much again for tuning in this week. Really appreciate you guys as always. Slàinte, take care, and I'll see you around. Bye for now, guys.